Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Game Testing Unlimited. My name is Wilfred. So this is Green Dawn. A lot of you have asked me in the past to try this game out as an alternative to Diablo 3 or even Path of Exile. So I've been putting it off for quite some time because I wanted to finish off the Titan Quest first, because after all, Green Dawn is the spiritual successor of Titan Quest. But I think time has come for me to give it a shot because it's been sitting in my library for quite some time. And these days, whenever there are sales, and people always ask me how the Green Dawn is. So yeah, there you go. Now I've taken my necromancer into this dungeon against the Act 1 boss, which is the Warden. Now the dungeon actually is very large, and it took me around 1 hour to complete, but I compressed this video into 10 minutes so as to make it more enjoyable for you guys. But all in all, I had a lot of fun playing the Green Dawn. Compared to Titan Quest, I think both are very similar in a very strange way, because if you look at Titan Quest, which is a game that is decades ago, but still holding up pretty good. They still release like a DLC on the Titan Quest. And the whole notion of the passive merge with the talent tree, or shall I say the mastery and the skill, kind of augment together, kind of concept work in Titan Quest as well as in Green Dawn. And also the entire multi-class thing, kind of like a concept as well. So I would say both are very enjoyable. Titan Quest, a little bit more of a Greek mythology, kind of like a mythology kind of a background, while Green Dawn has its own lore as well, which is also very enjoyable. So, if you can't decide on the two of them, it really depends on, what kind of like game you want to play. I would say, go for Green Dawn, but if the discount is right for Titan Quest, I think both are pretty much very similar. Now, I think even the itemization part of it, the whole even font size, to be honest, font itself is very similar between the two. So if you are used to Titan Quest, well, good news to you is that Green Dawn is also very enjoyable. Now, the only difference so far I've noticed between the Green Dawn and the Titan Quest is that I think I found that the quest is a lot easier to follow. Maybe the user interface a lot easier for me to find clues here and there, read up where things are without having to search on the internet. There is still a fair bit of exploration when it comes to Green Dawn, but at least I do not need to go to the internet and try to find out which of the quests I may have missed and so on and so forth. So that part of it, I think, is very enjoyable. And also Green Dawn's lore kind of develop as it goes. You recruit people into your base, and as your reputation go higher, your base kind of like changes as well. So it seems like it is an ever evolving kind of like a game, or your base, shall I say. So that part is also pretty enjoyable. But the most the most thing I want to highlight is that the dungeons are a lot larger, and the graphic is really nice. So in Titan Quest, the dungeons is not that big, not as big as like Green Dawn. The one that I'm playing right now, the Warden, it took me an hour to even get in there and finish off every single thing inside, and I think within the dungeon itself there was like 3 portals, so you can imagine it's pretty intense. Now you don't have to finish it up in one setting. You could break it down into like 3 different outings, maybe 20 minutes each kind of gameplay, if 1 hour is too long for you. But or you can do 1 hour as well. It really depends on what you want to do with it. So the dungeon is very large, and the asset, or shall I say the environment, also looks very different. Some of them could be a lot of rooms, some of them could be a lot of like poison stuff on the ground, but all in all, a very, very enjoyable experience so far. Now, so this part is the part that I'm going to face the final boss, which is the Warden in this Act 1. And as you know, in any Titan Quest or Green Dawn game, once you enter into the boss instance, then you can't get out from here. The door is closed. Yep, and if you get defeated, you lose your XP. Unlike Path of Exile, it only loses your XP in a certain level and above. But this one, right from the get-go, if you get defeated, there's a penalty there. Now this is the Warden Krieg. So initially I was like, okay, it doesn't look too hard. And my golem, no, actually my Blight fan has been holding the aggro pretty well with my skeleton, kind of like an archer, and a skeleton melee that is you know, from hitting from afar. But once you lose the aggro, it's kind of like getting a little bit challenging, and now he's transforming into something different. Now, if you read the lore, whereby you can pick up notes here and there as you play, it already warned you that it has two phases. And now this one is pretty hard. It does a lot of like you know, short wave, I would say. And so it just wipe off my skeleton pretty fast as well. So it didn't quite stand a chance. But it's kind of fun, you know, trying to kite it a little bit. Now, bear in mind that the boss is level 27, I'm level 24, so I'm still 3 levels below the boss, and that explains a little bit on why things are a little bit hard. And also I invest a lot on the mastery instead of the skill itself, so I don't really have a lot of DPS, but I do have a lot of attribute to stay alive, shall I say. So, you know, somehow my pet just doesn't kind of like hold the aggro as much as I wanted to, and I got a lot of stun, a lot of like weakening kind of things that I'm trying very hard to stay alive here. I can't really get close because whenever I get close, I get hit really badly, so it's a lot of like a movement here. I think the poison is from them as well. It's kind of a little bit hard to tell because my Blight fan does a lot of like poison nova as well. So I resummon the skeleton, and I you know, I think right now is still the buff period. So there is a buff that I have. The third button on the hotbar is a buff that I could use. I could use the yep. So that is the you know, down the boss, and that's about it. And there's quite a fair bit of a loot as well. By the way, if you wonder what the brimstone repeater is, it is a blue item. So of course blue is better than green, and it's better than yellow, so it's a little bit different from the other games like Diablo. So unfortunately it's a gun, and it's a two-hand gun, so I need cunning to use a gun, which I don't have yet. So either I put attribute onto cunning, or I multi-class into some other classes that put more emphasis onto cunning, so that I can transit or transform my necromancer less in a melee kind of way, but more into the range kind of build. So again, thank you so very much for watching, and this is just a video blog, and I will report back in as and when I make some significant kind of like progress into the into this game, Green Dawn. And if you do have tips for me, feel free to drop a few notes here and there. Happy to read it, and happy to do a bit more of Green Dawn as I progress. Alright, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.